Today we're gonna start on our homework from last lesson. Let's get started. All right, let's start with problem 7. Of 10 boxes, 5 contain pencils, 4 contain pens, and 2 contain both pens and pencils. How many boxes contain neither pens nor pencils? I'll let you guys have a try on this question and tell me your answer through the chat. So basically, this is just normal PIE. All right, so I think you guys all had a go on this question, and let's get started with it. So basically, this is pretty simple. We're gonna use normal PIE with only 2 sets. Pencils, pens. Alright? For the pencil, it's just 5. And we add in the 4 pens and subtract 2. That's normal PIE. Because we counted the pencils once, we counted the pens once, but then we counted the pencils and pens twice. So we have to subtract the pens and pencils. This just gives you a total of 7. This means that there are 7 pens or pencils. So we want to find how many of these 10 boxes contain only have none. So basically that means 10 minus 7 or equals 3. Which means that there are 3 pen boxes that don't have pencils or pens. Right? Let's move on to problem 8. In a class of 50 students, 28 take science, 21 take French, and 5 students take both classes. How many students take neither class? Now this is basically the same method as we did beforehand. This is just 28 plus 21, basically science and French added together. This gives you 49. Then we subtract the intersection, which is 5. Gives you 44. This gives you a total of 50 minus 44, or 6 total students that take neither class. Right? This is just basically PIE practicing. Right? Let's move on to problem 9. In a survey of 120 eighth graders, 84 liked math, 73 liked science, 23 liked math but not science. How many students disliked both subjects? I'll let you have a try on this question and tell me your answers through chat. It's basically still PIE. That's a hint. All right, let's get started with this question. So basically, the answer is basically 84 plus 73 minus 23, and then all of that subtracted from 120. This just gives us the answer of uh we first calculated inside the parentheses. This is just 50 plus 84. That's inside. First look at the inside. That's just 50 plus 84. Oops, sorry. This is not the same. So, my bad. Basically, this that says 23 likes math but not science. From there, we can find an intersection, right? The intersection is basically 84 minus 23. This gives 61. So 61 liked both, right? We're going to use this to do the PIE method again. We'll do 84 plus 73 minus 61. This gives you a total of how many 84 plus 73 minus 61. This gives you how many students like math and or science. This gives you 96. And then we have to subtract 120 minus 96. We have to do this. Why? Because we found how many liked both, but we know how many liked one or the other, but we didn't find how many disliked both. So basically, we're gonna subtract the number of the liked one or another. We subtract that from the total amount. 120 minus 96 or 24. Or D. Alright? Let's move on to problem 10. I'll let you have a try on this question and tell me your answers through chat. All right, so let's get started with this question. So basically, it's basically 17 plus 18 first, and then we knew that 6 didn't like either. So 17 plus 18 minus x is equal to 31 minus 6. Now let's explain this. We're gonna first do the PIE method. This is the PIE method we're gonna get so that we can find how many students like one or the other. We're gonna let x be the number of students that like both, right? So there's gonna be 17 that like fizz up and 18 like fizz down. That's gonna be 35 in total. This isn't an overshoot. Notice that. This is an overshoot. So we're gonna have people that have at least both, right? That's gonna be 35 minus x. Now, we knew that students didn't like either, so they didn't vote, basically. So it became 31 minus 6, which then becomes 25. Because it means that 25 students voted and they either choose fizz up or fizz down. And we were left with 35 minus x is equal to 25. And solving this should give you x equals 10. So the answer is going to be C, or x or 10. Right? Let's move on to today's lesson. Let's start with example 11. There are 100 fifth graders in Hope Middle School. 58 like English, 38 like math, and 52 like Spanish. 6 students like math and English only, not Spanish. 4 students like math and Spanish only, not English. 12 students like all 3 subjects. Each student likes at least one subject. How many students only like English? I'd like you guys have a try this question and turn your answer to chat. All right, let's get started. So basically, how we're supposed to approach this? Let's have 100 fifth graders in total. And we know each at least one subject. So we know that if we were to do PIE, there wouldn't be any left over. Right? Now, remember we talked about last lesson about PIE with 3 variables. I think we should remember what it is. Remember, it's the first 3 sets, then the 3 intersections of 2 sets each. So they're going to be 3 pairs. And then all 3 intersections, which is just 1 set. So basically, say the sets are English, Math, and Spanish. We let this be M, S, and English, E. We're going to first find how many elements are in this E, plus how many elements are in M, plus the number of students in Spanish. Then, consider that as the first one, subtract it from the intersection of E and M, plus the intersection. The upside down U just means intersection, or basically E and S plus intersection of M. Oops. And S. Then we add up the last set, which is just E, intersection M, and intersection S. That's basically what the formula is, alright? I'm gonna go ahead and erase all of this, since I think we get it. Now we're just gonna think about it. We're gonna do 58 plus 38 plus 52. Then we'll subtract 6. Then we'll subtract 4. And then we subtract 12. And then we add on x. Let x be 12, like all 3 subjects. Oh, wait, never mind. It does say it. It says minus x. 12. Adding this should give us a total of 100. So doing your adding and subtracting, we find that we find out the left-hand side is gonna be 150. So you get 150 minus x is equal to 100. So we get x is 50. They do English or Spanish. Alright. Since there's only 50, we first gotta subtract from 58 English. We gotta do, since there's a total of 58, there's 58 English people. And 50 of them like English and Spanish. If I'm correct. Hold on a second. Oops. Yep, I accidentally did it all wrong. So one step messed up the entire process. I remember the intersection of AB, BC, and CA. We should do 58 plus 38 plus 52 minus 6 minus 4 minus x, and then only 12 like all three subjects. And since we don't 12 like one subject, each student likes one subject. And since we also can't have 50, we have to subtract 3 12s to overcount on this fact. So in this case, I have to do 58 plus 32. Remember, it's just 150. I mean, we just do these, all of this, and I forgot to add in the 12. This is all 150. Then we had it to add in the 3 36s. Then minus x, which just gives you 114 minus x, which is equal to 100, or x equals 14. So this just gives you an answer from here. It's just 58 minus 14 minus 6 minus 12. This all of this subtracted just gives you the answer of E, or 26. But let's move on to the next question. Let's try to attempt example 12. Let's guys remember trying this question and tell me the answer through chat. Let's just start with this question. So basically, how do we approach this? We want to find how many are multiples of 3 or 4, but not 12. So we can use PIE to solve this. Well, PIE modified. First, we're going to find how many multiples are of 3, then how many multiples of 4, add them all up, and then we subtract the intersection, or multiples of 12. But we're going to subtract it twice this time. First, we're going to find how many multiples of 3 are under 2005. By just doing long division, we can get there's 668. And then how many multiples of 4? It's pretty simple. Also, there's only 501. Then we're going to have to subtract 2 times off 167. Why? Because we don't want 12 inside there twice, right? We actually don't want 12 at all. So basically, we just do this entire calculation. This should get you 1,168 and 1,169. 167 divided by 167 times 2, which is just 334. It gives an answer of C, or 835. Right? So if you chose D, you only subtracted it once, which just means you included only one group of multiples of 12. You have to subtract it one more time to make sure that there's no multiple of 12s. Right? Let's do example 13 now. Up to 200 students at Lakeview High School, 170 are taking science and 175 are taking mathematics. What is the fewest number of students at Lakeview who could be taking both? Let's you guys have a try on this question and tell me the answer through chat. Oh, so basically, for how do we do this question, it's basically how to do it is just, we notice that there's 668 multiples of 3, less than 2005. And 501 multiples of 4, less than 2005. And there's 167 multiples of 12 that are less than 2005, right? This is much needed to calculate the answer. So how do we approach this? Well, notice that we can use the PIE method we used before. Now, we're not going to just use the PIE method. We're going to add a modify. We're going to modify it. We're going to subtract the multiples of 12 one more time. Since we're going to count the intersection, only 4 multiples of 4, only multiples of 3. We're going to have to subtract the multiples of 12 once again. This gives you a minus 234 in total. Right? Then we do 1,169 minus 334 because we had to do 2 times, subtract twice of the multiples of 12 to get rid of the multiples of 12. And we added this up. And we just get 835 as an answer, or C. Alright, let's move on to example 13. I'll let you guys have a go on this question and tell me your answer through chat. All right, let's get started with this question. So basically, how are we supposed to approach this? So I have 200 students taking Lakeview High School. 170 and 175 are taking science and mathematics respectively. We want to find how many are taking both. So first off, if there's gonna be all the students are either gonna take either mathematics or science. If it's gonna take, they either can take mathematics or science. That's gonna minimize how many are taking both. Alright, so we have to subtract, or just we have to do 170 plus 175 minus x must be equal to 200. Solving gives us x equals 145. So the answer is C. Right? That's it for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week. Bye.